Hello everyone, welcome back again to this channel. In today's lesson, we are going to be learning how ethical hackers, pen testers or CTFers use PowerShell to enumerate the network and to gather system information. Before we begin, a quick disclaimer that this video is for educational purposes only. I do not use this technique outside of a system you own or outside of your lab, and make sure you have the proper permissions. Alright, let's begin. Alright guys, welcome to the PowerShell for ethical hackers. So right now let's get started, and I'm going to begin by opening up the PowerShell, right? Okay, now that we are in the PowerShell CLI, the first thing we are going to do is, of course, know who we are, know the group that we are part of, and the rights and privilege that we have. So it's really important to know what we are able to do in the box. All right. So the first command is going to be who am I, to actually know who we are. Okay. As you can say, we are the administrator. So it's also cool to know the group that we are part of. Okay. Let's do that by being groups. They should autocomplete. No. All right. Of course, by running the who am I group, simply list every group that the login user is part of. Of course, we are the domain admin, the local admin, and every other group that is part of. Now that we have some idea about the user and group that we are part of, we can also try and enumerate or get some network information. All right. So there are several commands to accomplish this task. You can either use the classical ipconfig command. Since we are working with PowerShell, so we are going to be using the PowerShell command. There are several commands in PowerShell, but let's try this command to get the IP address. So specifically, we are going to be looking at the IP version 4 address. So to do that, we are going to type in the get net IP address. So we are going to filter it to only display the IP version 4, so address family. Let's see if it's going to autocomplete. I think I'm typing that wrong. Okay, we need the IP version 4 address. That is going to be IPv4. Of course, this is the IP address. The interface alias, this is ETH0, and so the localhost as well. We can also view the routing table and get the network routing information. So we can achieve that by typing the get net route command to actually get some information about the routing table. This is the command. As you can see, we have the destination prefix, the next hop, and the route metric. These are some of the routing table. Right, next is to check some firewall information, which is really important to know if the firewall is either enabled or disabled, the direction, and some other nice information about it, which is really important. Okay. Now let's try and get some firewall information by typing the get net firewall rule. I think trying to autocomplete it. In this case, to not get a lot of information, we are going to filter it. What we need is, let's get the display name, the action, and see if it's enabled. Okay, so we are going to select object. Now we need the display name. We need the action if it's enabled or disabled. We also need to get the directions. All right. Okay. There's a lot of output here. We are going to scroll on top and see quite a lot of output. All right. These are the display names. We have some network discovery UPnP, and the action is allowed. The direction is either outbound or inbound. All right. Moving on, we can enumerate the host folder, enumerating the update or the installed update, also known as hotfix. Enumerating the shares, the system itself, the antivirus status. Okay. We are going to begin by enumerating the shares. So to do that, we can use this PowerShell command, which is get SMB shares if they're okay. But in this case, we have probably the standard default shares here. So there's really not any interesting share in this system. Okay. Now, let's try and enumerate the hotfix or the recently installed update. Okay. To get idea about how the system is maintained as update installed, or for example, the system might be missing a very critical update. So this is really important to check. Okay, so we are going to use the PowerShell command get hotfix. That should do that for us. I have some update here. The source is the DC1, which is the name of this system. We also have some descriptions here. We have one which says update. We have security update. These are the hotfix ID. You could either learn more about the hotfix ID by typing them in any browser of your choice. This is it installed by, let's say, user, a system. In this case, the update is installed by the NT authority system and the date it was installed. Really nice, which is cool. It's also good to enumerate the installed packages. All right, we can do that by getting packages that are installed in the system. Okay, get package. See here we have some packages installed. In this case, I do have Google Chrome. We have the Microsoft, the Wazoo agent, and here we have the versions. In this case, there is no source. We also have the provider name, Ade Program, MSI, MSU. This is really important because you might find some version that maybe are outdated or maybe are affected by some vulnerabilities. So these are really important to check. All right, moving forward, let's actually check the Defender configuration and state. We can do that by typing the get mp. Let's try and autocomplete. All right, yeah, this is the right command, get mp computer status. All right, in this case, the anti-malware engine or the AM version. Okay, we have the product version. We also have the mode. In this case, it's not running because I disabled it. It was disabled for some reason because I actually use this box to practice maybe Active Directory pen testing. So yeah, that's the reason why I actually disabled them. Okay, and is the antivirus enabled? In this case, false, which means it is disabled. This is really important to check, but in this case, it was disabled on purpose. Okay. All right. The next step would be to enumerate the Defender service. All right, to know if the service is active or not. So right now we are going to try to enumerate the Defender service by using the get service command. So get service, we are going to, the name would be, let's say, WinDefend. All right, that's the service we are looking for, and let's try and filter it a little bit to get the status if it's running or not. Okay, we just want to know select object. If I can type that correctly, we only need the status to see if it's running. All right, in this case it is stopped. Nice. And we can also get any other service in the system to know what service are running. But in this case, to cut down the noise and a lot of output, we are going to enumerate just the running services. So to do that, we are going to use the get service command as well, where in this case we are going to say where object is equals to running. We need the running service, right? In this case, and the dot status. Okay, now equals running. All right, let's go for that. These are some of the running service. Of course, this the state, the status are running. The name, we have some, I think, Active Directory web services. These are the display name. They are running. These are currently running service on this host. All right, we can also enumerate some processes and get some running process. We can do that with the get process command. So wow, we do have a lot of options. Of course, if you want to learn more about this command, how to filter them, get the result that you want. To get the result that you want, you could either use, let's say, this work in practically every command we have in PowerShell. You can either say get help with the command should be in this case get process, right? Okay. We do have the descriptions examples. If you are just looking for example, you could come back and say examples. This give you examples on how to actually use them effectively. You can either filter them. I mean, you can go crazy with it, do whatever you want. All right. Those are some of the services that are running. And we can also try and get more information out of the running processes. For example, to see their path, their ID, the process name, the start time. Okay. What we're going to do is let's try and get a bit more information from the running process. Okay. So we're going to do that by say select object. In this case, we need the ID, the process ID, the process name. We also need let's say the path and the start time or the start information, something like that. All right, as you can see, this is the process ID here, and the process name, the path. We could either, let's take anyone, let's say this DNS. Let's copy it and check the permissions. You can either use ICAC or ECAC depending on how you pronounce it. Then we paste in the path that we copied. As you can see, the NT service trusted installer is the owner, which means it has the full permission. The administrator users are the read and execute, same as the NT authority system. The users, they have read and execute. There's also a PowerShell command that does the same thing, which is actually get the ACS. So let's try that as well. Get this kit ACS, and we'll give it the path pasting. Same stuff. This is the path, the owner, the NT system trusted installer, and the access. The system is allowed to read, execute, and whatsoever. All right. Moving forward, the next command we are using would be the get computer info command. This command is a PowerShell command that actually gives us a lot of information about the operating system itself. Like for example, the name, the OS name, the version, the build number, etc. All right. So okay, let's quickly use this command and see what we can get. The command is as follow: get computer info. Because we are going to be getting a lot of output, so I'm going to pipe it with more so that, all right, these are some of the information regarding the operating system itself. We do know that the Windows installation type is server, of course, the date it was installed, and the Windows product name. This is a Windows Server 2022 standard evaluation. Of course, we do have some other interesting information. It is really important to also know the PowerShell version we are running. We can get that by using, there are multiple commands to get that, but let's quickly use the fastest one among them. So we're going to use the PS version table to quickly get the PowerShell version that we are on. Okay, this is the command. In this case, the PowerShell version is 5.1. Now, let's move forward and try to check if the UAC or the user account control is enabled. So to do that, we can use the get item property with the path to see if the UAC is enabled. All right, let's do that. I'm going to use the get item property. Then we'll give it the path, the registry path. The path is the host key local machine. So HKLM, think software, then Microsoft Windows. The current version. Now the policies, right? So now what we are looking for is if the UAC is enabled. So we are going to give it the name, which is enable. We should be able to autocomplete it. Now we are looking for the enable lower, which is the limited user account. Okay, now let's check. All right, the enable lower is equals to is 1, so which means it is enabled. If it were to be 0, it is disabled. In this case, it is enabled. We can see the PS part. This is the part, and the parents part. We can see the PS child name is the system. The PS drive is HKLM, and the provider is Microsoft.PowerShell core registry. Of course, this is a registry key. Now, we can also check for the level, okay, to see the level of the UAC. To do that, we are going to check with the, I think, prompt behavior. Can it autocomplete? No. All right. Okay. In this level, it is set to 5, which is the highest. The level is from 0 to 5, but in this case is the highest level, but does not necessarily mean it is the most secured. All right. A UAC can be bypassed. Of course, there are a lot of POC or proof of concept script you can get on GitHub to actually disable or bypass the UACs. Now, another command we are going to be looking at is the get win event command. What the get win event command does is that it displays every log regarding the system. So in this case, let's get an idea about the log that we can actually enumerate or query further. All right, first of all, we are going to get every log list. So to do that, we are going to use the get win event. Then we are going to use the list log. Now we need everything. Then we are going to pipe it to more because there's going to be a lot of information. In this case, we can see the log mode. We have the maximum size in bytes, the record count, the log names. In this case, we are interested in the security. As you can see, it does have a lot of information within it. So now we are going to query for the security log, right? Now, to do that, we are going to use the same command, get win event. The log name in this case is security, and log name, and it's going to be security, right? And because there is a lot of information within the security log, let's get the max events, in this case 15 or 20, for the sake of simplicity. So max event, we need at least 15, and we are going to select object. Then we need the expand property message. Right. As you can see, there are some logs here. An account was logged off. We have the subject ID, the account name or the account domain. This is the Nbyte-Sec, the logon ID. We also have the logon type 3. In this case, probably a network logon. Now you also have the possibility to clear the log, but you should be careful and make sure you know what you are doing. All right. In other case, there is also the clear event log command that we can use to clear in this case, the security log. Let's quickly do that, but you should be careful in clearing the logs. Okay. Clear event log. In this case, we want to clear the security log, so the log name is the security. All right, we have successfully cleared the security log. Right now, let's get some basic information about the users and computers in this domain, because we haven't really done that. So in this case, I will start by getting every user we have in this domain by using the get AD user in PowerShell. So let's quickly do that. Get AD users. In this case, we are going to get every single user. We do have some interesting users here. In this case, we have a user called Ghost. Is it enabled? Yes. We also have another user, Intend. It is enabled. We have the student user. We have the Kun user. We have the Jamie, of course. Some are disabled. In this case, like the Kebero ticket, granting ticket is disabled. We also have the guest user that is disabled. We have the administrator account, of course. We all know what the administrator account is. Now, let's get a bit information about user. about a specific user. In this case, we are going to use the identity command. Let's say the ghost user, and the properties, we need everything, of course. All right, these are some of the metadata relating to this user. Where was the account created? The user principal name, the ghost at Nbyte.local, and some related information. Some are true, some are false. The password last set, this is the date, I think it was 15th of May. And the password never expire is true. Password not required, this is false. We also have some, relating information about this user. All right, moving on. Let's also enumerate every computer in this Active Directory domain. So to do that is straightforward as well. We are going to use the get AD computers. In this case, we also need every computer that is part of this domain. We're going to use the same command, filter everything, which means every single computer in this domain. Of course, we have our DC1. Is it enabled? Yes. The name is DC1. That is the domain controller. Of course, we also have other users like the Dreamer. I also have the Hero. They are all enabled. We also have the Homeland. In this case, let's look at the Homeland, which is interesting. All right. So let's also get a little more information about the Homeland computer. So identity as well. We're going to say the Homeland, and we are going to list every property regarding the computer. All right, they are almost the same as the user, but there are some little differences here. Now, account expiration date, we have nothing regarding that. The account expires. Okay. Account not delegated. Allow for reversible password encryption is false. The canonical name is Nbyte.local computers Homeland. The common name is Homeland, and the DNS name, of course, some really useful information are all here. Okay, that is it about users and computers enumeration. Of course, you can really go deeper if that is the case. But in this video, this is just a quick or a brief introduction. All right, now that we are able to identify some computers in our Active Directory environment, there's also a possibility to get more information about the computers by running command on them remotely. We can do that with the help of our invoke command in PowerShell. So now let's use the invoke command to actually run some test command against any of our hosts here. So invoke command. In this case, we are going to choose the Homeland as our computer. So we are going to give it the computer name. In this case, Homeland. And we are going to specify that we want to run a command. So with the script block. All right. So inside this curly bracket, we are going to specify the command we want to run. In this case, let's say who am I? We got back the user. In this case, it is Nbyte administrator. We can also get the IP information about the host. So let's say IP config, quick one. We got the IP information. Of course, it's not limited to who am I or IP config. We can actually get let's say get the services that are running on the remote host. We are going to specify the get service command. In this case, we are getting some of the services that are running. Some are stopped, some are running. Of course, you can do a lot with the invoke command. Now, we have taken a look on how to run a command on our remote host and display the output in our terminal. Now, we are going to take it a bit further by downloading a file from a remote host, in this case from my Kali instance. Now, I'm going to download a very interesting file to this Windows host. To do that, I will be using the invoke web request. Now, to do that, I will say the invoke web request. This also works by using the wget or IWR. They will work the same way. All right, I'm going to give it the URI, in this case, the address of my Kali instance. So it's on HTTP, then the IP address. Hopefully that is correct. 135. I hope it's really correct. Then the port that the web server is running on, in this case is port 8000, and the file we want to download the WinPix. So WinPix, x64. All right, this is the file we want to download, and the output location would be the out file. This is going to be on my directory on my C drive, in this case C. Take the pt tools directory. Okay, I think I'll have to give it the name winpiece.exe. That makes sense. All right, it seems it's working. All right, it's still downloading. Let's give it a little bit of time so to complete. I think we are having an issue. Let me cd to the C drive. I do have the pt2, so cd. Okay, we have successfully downloaded the file. Of course, I'm not going to run it in this course because it's out of the scope of this video. For today's video, I think that is going to be the end. Thank you for sticking around, and see you next time. If you haven't subscribed, don't forget to subscribe and support this channel. All right, have a great day and see you next time.